One of you asked me to make a back-to-school edition of my fragrance recommendations for young gentlemen returning to middle school and high school. Without further ado, let's start with one of my easiest recommendations, Afnan Supremacy Collector's Edition. If I had to describe Supremacy Collector's Edition in a few words, I'd call it a smooth, masculine pineapple. It's a very mass-appealing fragrance. You can pretty much take this into any situation all year, some slightly more elevated ones, some casual ones. This one has a lot of versatility to it, and I think it's an easy reach, especially for 40 bucks. Next on the list is this fragrance called Mason's Roar DXB. If you haven't heard of it, basically it is a take on a very popular Louis Vuitton fragrance that we will call AS, and it is very well done. I'd say it's about 90% similar, where this smells like citrus by the poolside to me. And the longevity is appropriate for a school day, so really good get at 45 bucks. Next, I'm slotting an OG and a take on this fragrance in the same place because both of these are really well done in my opinion. This is Bougermi Hectic, a nice $45 budget-friendly version of this $350 plus fragrance. Now, if you want to know what these smell like, just think of a combination of black tea, citrus, and soap that's very mass appealing. It definitely sits in the compliment-getting zone scent profile-wise, and in terms of performance, these sit roughly in the 7-hour range. For me, you could get more, but highly recommendable either way. Something else for my friends in warmer climates, this is Platine Blanc, a really wonderful fragrance, and I would say one of the better fragrance releases for this summer. This one has really impressed me. Performance-wise, around 7 hours, but in terms of scent, it's like a loud, fresh, minty mojito that is really good, especially for 45 bucks. I highly recommend it. Next, we have probably the best recommendation on this list for me. This is a top-tier fragrance called Après l'Amour. If you haven't heard of this, you probably have heard of Baccarat, and I will tell you, in my opinion, this is better than that fragrance by leaps and bounds. It should see more attention, especially at a price point of 90 bucks. I think this is a wonderful fragrance. It lasts super long, and it is definitely in that compliment-getting zone. Bringing up the rear here is this more premiumly priced fragrance called Parfums de Marly Greenly. Scent profile-wise, this smells like a refreshing burst of green apple. There's more to it with a woody dry down, but I'd say the green apple is really the highlight of this, and it's really enjoyable. Price-wise, you can try to get this around $185, $200 to get a good deal on it, and otherwise, I could say this is one of the most satisfying Parfums de Marlys that I've ever smelled. Last two suggestions if you're planning for a little bit more long-term where the true cold comes out. One is Carrelage Island Vanilla Dunes. For about 35 bucks, this is a really beautiful blend of orange blossom and cinnamon, a little bit more prominent in the cinnamon, but it has a nice youthful energy to it, and it is a great take on a very popular PDM fragrance that often retails for more than 350 bucks. We also have Amore Cafe. This one, while it can smell like coffee, those who do not know the name tag associated with this might say that it smells more like a very beautiful vanilla. Either way, in the air, both of these are very satisfying to smell, and for 90 bucks, this is definitely not a bad get at all. All in all, these are just a couple of the recommendations I can make. There are a lot more on my shelf that I'd love to tell you about, but that said, this is a community, so enough of my yapping. If you guys have suggestions in the comments for fragrances that are more accessible or highly recommendable, especially for school, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.